Imagine a job where simply baking a loaf of bread that was slightly too white could get you arrested for treason. Imagine a world where your customers aren't just hungry, they're literally trying to kill you because the price of flour went up by a few cents. You might think being a soldier or a royal was dangerous during the French Revolution, but honestly, it was infinitely worse to be the guy making the sandwiches. Today, we're looking at the short, brutal, and flour-dusted life of a French baker. Welcome back to the channel. Now, when we think of France, we think of baguettes, croissants, and culinary excellence. But in the late 18th century, bread wasn't just food, it was life itself. And the people who made it, they were stuck in the middle of a political hurricane. To understand why this job absolutely sucked, we aren't just going to list facts, we're going to live through the complete life cycle of a typical baker, from his dusty beginnings in the cellars to his very likely, very violent end. So let's get started. Your story starts before you're even born. In the 1700s, social mobility isn't really a thing yet. If your father was a baker, guess what? Here's your apron. Your destiny is sealed. Your life starts in a dark, unventilated cellar. You aren't just baking, you are breathing in flour dust for 18 hours a day, every single day. By the time you're a teenager, you probably have a chronic cough that the locals call baker's asthma. You don't sleep in a bed, you sleep on sacks of flour to keep the rats away. You are, quite literally, a prisoner in your own bakery, working through the night so the aristocrats can have their brioche by morning. The work is grueling. You're lifting heavy sacks of grain. You're kneading stiff dough by hand until your forearms burn. You're sweating next to a wood-fired oven that feels like the gates of hell itself. Your fingers are calloused. Your back is permanently bent. Your lungs are slowly filling with flour dust, and you're not even 20 years old yet. But you survive, because people in your position always do. They have to. So you survive your apprenticeship. You finally take over the shop. This should be your growth phase, right? Time to make some money, time to build something of your own? Wrong. In pre-revolutionary France, the price of bread is strictly regulated by the police. They don't care if you're struggling. They don't care if you have a family to feed. They tell you exactly how much you can charge for a loaf. That's it. No negotiation, no flexibility. But here's the catch, and this is where everything falls apart. They do not regulate the price of the grain you have to buy. Not even close. So, when a harvest fails due to bad weather, the price of wheat skyrockets. It doubles, it triples, maybe more. But you, the baker, cannot raise your prices to match it. You are literally required by law to bake bread at a financial loss. Every single loaf you make loses you money. If you stop baking, you go to jail. The government will prosecute you for refusing to serve the public. If you bake bad bread because you're cutting corners to save money, you get fined, maybe whipped. You're squeezed between the government on one side, strangling you with regulations, and the starving peasants on the other, demanding cheap bread. You're trapped. And every year, the trap gets tighter. Now we reach the year 1789, the year that changes everything. Tensions are boiling over across France. History books talk about the storming of the Bastille, the dramatic moments, the grand gestures. But do you know what actually started most of the riots? Bread. The average worker spent 50 to 80% of their daily income just on bread. Not housing, not clothes, just bread. When it wasn't there, when it was too expensive, when there simply wasn't enough to go around, people didn't blame some abstract concept called the system. They didn't even blame the king at Versailles, at least not at first. They blamed the person standing right in front of them, you. Rumors start spreading through the streets like wildfire. Bakers are hoarding flour. You're driving up prices on purpose. You're working with the nobles. You're part of the conspiracy. This is what people called the Pacte de Famine, the conspiracy of famine. Everyone believes it. Mobs start gathering outside your shop. They aren't looking for pastries. They are looking for blood. You aren't a craftsman anymore. You're a symbol. You're the reason people are hungry. You're public enemy number one. Your shop windows get smashed, your door gets broken down, there's nowhere to hide, and the guards can't protect you. The revolution is coming for you, and you don't even know why. The situation gets worse. As the revolution turns into the reign of terror, your life gets even stranger. The new revolutionary government sits down and makes a decision that sounds insane, but makes perfect sense to them. They decide that white bread is a symbol of inequality. Think about it. Why should the rich eat fluffy white loaves while the poor eat dark bran bread? It's unfair. It's counter-revolutionary. So they pass a law. It is now illegal to bake white bread. Illegal. You must bake only the pain d'égalité, the bread of equality. It's a mix of wheat, rye, and bran. It's dense, it's unappetizing, it tastes like punishment, but that's the point. And here's where it gets really terrifying. If you're caught sifting your flour to make it finer, to make it whiter, even slightly whiter than the official standard, that is counter-revolutionary behavior. You could be reported by your own neighbors, your own customers, anyone. The guillotine is hungry, and a baker who caters to the rich, who tries to make better bread, who refuses to accept this new order, well, you're the perfect snack.
Finally, we reach the end of the life cycle. And for this, we need to talk about a real man. His name was Denis Francois. He was a baker in Paris, and by all accounts, he was one of the good ones. He was widely respected in his neighborhood. He was known for being charitable. He helped people who couldn't afford bread. This was a decent man trying to survive in impossible times. On October 21st, 1789, a woman enters his shop. She accuses him of hiding bread. It's a lie. He has fresh loaves ready. The baskets are full. But the mob outside doesn't care about facts. They don't care about evidence. They dragged him out of his shop. The National Guard tries to protect him. They really do, but they're outnumbered. The crowd is hungry and furious and beyond reason. They lynch him right there in the street. They cut off his head. They put it on a pike. And then, and this is the part that really haunts the historical record, they made his pregnant wife kiss the lips of her dead husband. This was the reality. This was what it meant to be a baker in 1789. It didn't matter if you were good. It didn't matter if you tried to help people. If the crowd was hungry, you were dead. Your reputation meant nothing. Your charity meant nothing. Your wife's suffering meant nothing. There was no appeal. There was no justice. There was just death.
So the next time you walk into a bakery and smell that fresh sourdough baking, take a second. Just a moment. Take a second to appreciate that the baker isn't fearing for their life, that you aren't going to be dragged into the street and executed for the crime of trying to feed people. The French Revolution gave us the Declaration of the Rights of Man. It gave us the foundations of modern democracy. We remember it as this glorious moment when the people rose up against tyranny, and in many ways it was. But for the humble baker standing by the oven, covered in flour, trying to make enough money to feed his family, it was a time of terror. It was bankruptcy. It was blood in the streets. It was the guillotine waiting for you. And it all came down to one thing, the most dangerous ingredient in all history: hunger. If you enjoyed this slice of history, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps the channel rise like good dough. And don't forget to subscribe for more dark history stories. See you in the next one.